Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Now, some may say that it's deliberate, some may say it's stupidity, some may say it's just unfortunate. But I think it's deliberate. And that is what? The damages that the Labour Party is doing to Britain and to its economy. The high taxes, the fright, they're putting the frighteners on the rich and the rich are getting out. And so they're taking all that taxable income with them. And so the country has no money. And of course, without the rich paying the taxes, it means all the poor have to pay more tax. So the tax rates go up and everyone just gets poorer. And I think that's the plan. Poor people are easy to control. I think that's definitely the Labour plan. And that is shown absolutely by figures released today showing the amount of government borrowing. 1 month into the job, and they borrowed in the first month £3.1 billion. That's £100 million a day. And that's on top of all the money they have through the income from taxes and levies and all this. And they still don't have enough. They still have to borrow £100 million a day. And what are we getting for it? Nothing. Life's getting worse. Life is getting absolutely way worse. And then they say that, oh, it's the fault of the Tories. This is what we inherited. No, it isn't. Even the Office of National Statistics was shocked by this one. They predicted that borrowing in July would be 0.1 billion, not 3.1 billion. And when they looked at the numbers, they said, no, this is all Labour's commitments. Now, how can Labour justify this? Nobody knows. You cannot blame the Tory party for giving doctors a 22% pay increase. You cannot blame the Tory party for giving ASLEF a 14.25% pay increase. And you cannot blame the Tories for reversing every single Tory policy with regards to keeping, or at least trying to dissuade, immigrants to come to this country. And indeed, the Labour Party are making it much nicer and easier for them, bringing them in, housing them, feeding them, giving them money, getting us to pay more in tax to do so. It's all part of the plan. Keep people poor. Break the people, break their spirit. You can control them like a good little communist state it's becoming. And when people stand up and complain, you arrest them, charge them, put them into jail for 3 years. Let the murderers out, let the rapists out. Just put someone, some keyboard warrior in there. He said a bad thing about the government. 3 years, But when you've got a 22, or it's going to be £25 billion black hole now in your budget in your first year, you then start taxing everybody through the roof to try and fill that rather than cutting spending. It's no wonder the country goes to the dogs. Of course, this 22 billion that Rachel Reeves talked about when she came in is, bollocks. It's a load of rubbish. That 0.25% cut that we had in interest rates last month took about 10 billion a month off repayments. Yes, that's how much interest we're paying, 10 billion a month. Actually, we're paying more than that, but that was the extent of it. We're over $1 trillion in debt. Another 0.25% cut, and there you go. That's your 20 billion. And that is your deficit wiped out. You don't have to find that money. 20 billion a year. Not a month. I did say a month. I meant a year. 20 billion a year saved. And that's your deficit gone. So you don't need to tax. But Rachel will still continue to tax, because taxing and spending is how you do it. Like I say, this is the beginning. It is the very first month. And you've got 5 years of this. How fucked on a scale of 1 to 10 will Britain be in 5 years' time when they're borrowing 100 million a day? It's a debt that will never be repaid. We're still, right now, still paying back debts taken out by Tony Blair in 97 because he borrowed that much, which is why at the end of that last Labour government, the note was left on the desk, sorry, all the money's gone. And they weren't kidding. The time before that, when the Labour were in, this country had to go to the IMF and the World Bank. They were that broken. Dennis Healey promising to tax the rich until the pips squeaked. Well, the pips didn't squeak. The pips got up, like I say, and ran, took their money with them. And it's happening all over again. People are leaving. Famously, they claimed 2% of non-dom taxpayers would leave. It's now over 25% have gone. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot, and it's going. And when they go, they're costing jobs. And of course, people then aren't paying tax. They're claiming benefits. That's yet more cost. That's yet more borrowing. All this borrowing is affecting Britain's credit rating. So the country itself has to put far, far more up. It's just an absolute shit show. And the thing is, it's a spiral of doom. There's this negative feedback in the whole of the economy when you do this. So what's bad now gets worse and worse and worse and worse over time, until eventually the whole thing goes down the plug hole, financially, economically, morally, and Britain becomes destitute. Now, I honestly don't think this is accidental. I think it is deliberate policy. I think Labour are deliberately doing this in order, as I say, to break the country so that they can maintain complete and utter control. For Labour, the final end game is that everybody is on benefits. And if you don't have some kind of social credit, then you don't get your benefits and they'll let you starve to death. You know, this is more or less where it is. Social credit is going to be the way forward. If you fail to agree with the government, you put a post up that doesn't paint us in the best possible light, you're going to get punished. We're withholding half of your benefits this week and so forth. They'll make you homeless, put you on the street because you don't agree with them. This is why the push for complete ownership of all homes by the banks or by the large institutions that can be controlled. They don't want anyone owning their own home. If you own your own home, they can really do very little for you or to you. The wealthy, don't like wealthy people. Wealthy people don't vote Labour. Wealthy people think that they can do what they like. If we make everyone poor, we control them. That seems to be it. Collectivization, Stalinism, and Keir Stalin is doing a grand job. He's making us all guilty. He's making us all criminals. Probably because we're white, probably because we disagree with him, probably because we're not kissing his arse. Well, I say no. I'm sure the rest of you will. But £100 million a day for the privilege? Nah, I don't think the Labour Party's worth it. But who am I to judge? Thanks very much. Look after yourself, take care, and I will speak to you later. Bye.